Each year, on this occasion, the university presents honorary doctoral degrees to members of the community who have made a significant difference in a particular field or discipline. The university confers this honor upon individuals whose accomplishments, both personal and professional, are held in the highest regard. Will Governor Murphy please join me next to the podium? Whereas William Patterson University is proud to recognize the accomplishments of Governor Philip D. Murphy, New Jersey's 56th governor. Whereas Governor Murphy guided New Jersey during the COVID-19 pandemic to the highest level of public health standards and data-driven response and fostered a strong economic recovery. His administration has provided billions of dollars in state and federal relief to small businesses, schools, homeowners, tenants, landlords, and middle-class families. Whereas he is focused on building a stronger, fairer, and more affordable New Jersey, helping grow the state's economy and creating economic opportunities. Whereas Governor Murphy has championed initiatives to make higher education affordable for many citizens in the state throughout the New Jersey College Promise, which consists of 2 financial aid programs, the Community College Opportunity Grant Program and the Garden State Guarantee. Together, these programs provide an affordable pathway for New Jersey students to earn a college degree by covering all or a significant portion of their tuition and fees not already covered by other financial aid and scholarships. Whereas the Garden State Guarantee is currently supporting more than 14,000 eligible students in its inaugural year. Additionally, Governor Murphy has increased funding provided to the Higher Education Student Assist Authority for tuition and grant awards, including the expansion of such awards for summer study and to the Educational Opportunity Funds program. Whereas Governor Murphy spearheaded the $15 per hour minimum wage across the state, guaranteed earned sick days for all employees, and expanded paid family leave, the governor has also expanded protections for the state immigrant and LGBTQIA communities, and he has enacted and proposed gun safety laws to combat gun violence and promote responsible gun ownership. Whereas during his time in office, Governor Murphy has sought to make New Jersey a model state for social and environmental justice and voting rights. He's also put a focus on eliminating stigma and promoting a compassionate approach to tackling opioid misuse. Therefore, be it resolved for his achievements as a public servant, for his initiative focused on higher education access and affordability, and for his leadership and commitment to improving the lives of all citizens in the state of New Jersey, the Board of Trustees of William Patterson University of New Jersey is pleased to award on this 31st day of May, 2023, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, to Dr. Philip D. Murphy.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Michael, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Absolutely. Oops. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. President Richard Held-Dobler, I thought your remarks and advice were outstanding. God bless you, man. Provost Joshua Powers, Chairman Michael Sieve, and members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished alumni, especially the rockin' members of the class of 1973, administrators, faculty, staff, students, family, and all of our distinguished guests, and especially a shout out to Senator Nellie Poe. I also thought your remarks, Nellie, were outstanding. It's an incredible honor to be with you this morning. There's an old Irish saying, I'm a Murphy after all, that a commencement speaker plays the same role as a body at an Irish wake. That is to get the party started. So let's kick things off, shall we? Congratulations, most importantly, to the class of 2023. I am so proud of you, and I would ask you to take a minute and look around. I want you to see what I see, which is the face of America, and more importantly, the face and future of the state of New Jersey. You are testament to the fact that our strength lies in our diversity. William Patterson is one of the most diverse universities, not just in this state, but in the entire United States. And that includes having a clear majority of women. As the saying goes, the future is female, and you are proving that. This is a big day. For many of you, the roads that brought you here were not smooth. They were full of obstacles, but you paved the way with your hard work and determination. As Richard pointed out earlier, many of you are the first in your families to go to college. Many of you are immigrants or children of immigrants, and many of you worked your way through school, holding down jobs and supporting your families while also somehow finding the time to study and go to class. In normal circumstances, that alone would be an incredible achievement. But the past few years have not been normal by any definition. Halfway through your academic career, a pandemic hit, and it kicked us all in the teeth. After getting used to your freedom and independence, you unexpectedly, many of you, found yourselves back at home with your parents or your family going to Zoom University. But you persevered, and all of you are here now, and that is a testament to your grit and your determination. But, as has been mentioned, you did not get here entirely on your own. So again, let's take a moment to give a big thank you to your parents and families for their support over these many years. My wife, Tammy, and I have a son graduating this year as well. In fact, he graduated yesterday. So we know what you're going through. We know the emotions. So to all the moms and dads, we first of all say congratulations, and secondly to say you made it. If you were like us, COVID meant having a surprise roommate and your house turned into a dorm with a 24-hour cafeteria and laundromat. But in all seriousness, it was a scary time and it was not easy. But we made it through together, and so we have plenty to celebrate today. Now, at this point, these kinds of speeches can veer off into sort of apple pie territory about how you should follow your heart. And if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. I will leave that for the motivational posters. Instead, I'd like to be honest with you. Graduates, members of the class of 2023, the world out there is kind of a mess. Some might even call it a hot mess. It's one thing after another. Climate change, a war in Ukraine, authoritarianism on the rise around the world. And at home, we're faced with a potential recession, inflation, a growing political divide, and we continue to be haunted by the specter of racism, xenophobia, and ignorance. And if all that weren't enough, we have people running around saying the world is flat. COVID-19 vaccines have microchips in them, and the Illuminati secretly control everything. Very hot and very messy indeed. It's tough out there, but you know that already. You have seen more and dealt with more challenges than most people your age. And as a result, you've had to grow up faster than others. And the pandemic only pulled back the veil on the world's inequities even further. As the legendary activist and author Grace Lee Boggs said, and I quote her, "You do not choose the times you live in, but you do choose who you want to be, and you do choose how you want to think." Good advice. So in the face of all this turmoil, the choices you made fill me with hope for our future because you have chosen to get involved and do something about the world around you. After George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and many others, too many others, were tragically murdered, we saw young people leading marches in the streets, calling for a racial reckoning and the transformation of policing as we know it. We see your generation take the lead on climate change, from Greta Thunberg's impassioned pleas at the United Nations to a group of young people in Montana suing the state to stop its pro-fossil fuel policies. We're seeing high school students rallying to end gun violence in the face of congressional inaction. The inequality that we see, the injustices that we feel, and the discrimination we face are not new. But what the world has never seen before is so many young people alive to the fact that the status quo is no longer acceptable and they are demanding change. And that is you all, and that's what gives me hope. It may be hard to tell from reading the headlines each morning, but today's tumult is leading us to powerful social changes, ultimately for the better. I sincerely believe that when you have disturbances at this high level, great leaders are born. When the house is on fire and everybody else is running out, real leaders, including the leaders of tomorrow like you all, are running in to help. Trust me, I've seen it happen. I too grew up in a turbulent time, in my case, the 1960s. There was a terrible war raging abroad that young people were being drafted for. And at home, Black, Latino, LGBTQIA plus people, women, and so many more were fighting for their basic rights and dignity. We saw incredible leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy emerge. And sadly, they were taken from us before our very eyes. And I pray that you never see your heroes taken from you like that. But in that turmoil, even in that tragedy, more leaders emerged and carried on their work. John Lewis, Marsha P. Johnson, Ruth Bader Ginsburg right here in Newark, and so many others. And through the chaos, social change was born. And we're seeing it happen again. You folks are those leaders rushing into the flames to help others. And I implore you all to stay active and stay engaged. I know the challenges that we face can feel at times so big and overwhelming that it seems like there's nothing we can do about them. But remember, you are not alone. Our power to make change comes from community. The movements we see now, Black Lives Matter, Me Too, climate change movements, their power comes not from any one individual, but from our collective voices. And it is most often only through collective action that lasting change is made. As Robert F. Kennedy said, and I quote him, "Few will have the greatness to bend history, but each of us can work to change a small portion of the events. And in the total of all of these acts will be written the history of this generation." That could be said, that was 60 years ago, that could be said with the same passion and relevance today. You are writing that history, and as your story unfolds, the American dream is renewed, and it grows to include even more families. And we know all too well that the American dream was not always open to everyone. But institutions like William Patterson have made it their mission to help students move from humble beginnings into the middle class and beyond, no matter what they look like or where they come from. And by every measure, this institution is succeeding. Just by getting here today, you are proof of that. You're proof of that willpower. William Patterson is one of our nation's best at creating upward mobility. And that, too, is at the heart of what we're striving to accomplish, not just at William Patterson, but in New Jersey. We are building a New Jersey where you can see your hard work pay off, where every family can afford their American dream, where opportunity grows, where rights are protected, and where we fight for each other and not with each other. You will all play a key part in that future, so selfishly, I hope you all stay in the great state of New Jersey. Now, I know that may sound a little abstract. I remember in 1979, sitting in your shoes at my own graduation, wondering where these opportunities would come from that everybody was talking about. I was not sure how I would pay off my loans or if I would ever achieve my dream of going to graduate school. Believe it or not, I was not always the wise gentleman that you see before you. In fact, we may have more in common than you think. I was born the youngest of 4 kids in a working poor family. We were middle class on a good day. My father took whatever job he could get, whether it was being a paid pallbearer or managing a liquor store. My mom was a secretary and the only one of my parents to graduate from high school. But my folks, excuse me, is this water? Yeah. I'm a Murphy after all, I had to ask that question. But my folks would not allow my siblings and me to let our place in life dictate our fate. They knew that our paths out of the working poor lay in getting an education and putting ourselves, by doing so, on a different trajectory. So after college, my plan was to go to graduate school, but I had loans to pay off. So I took a job instead selling textbooks to professors, many of them, please don't be offended, folks, many of whom took some twisted pleasure in slamming their office doors in the face of a salesman barely older than their students. And for this joy, I earned $12,500 a year. It was, on the one hand, a humbling experience that left me deflated at times. After yet another door was shut in my face, I didn't know if I had it in me to knock on the next one. But I kept at it, and after a couple years, I saved enough money to go to graduate school. So why am I telling you this? My point is that there is rarely a clear path to success. And unfortunately, you will most likely fail along the way at some point. By the way, the good news is we all do. Failure is a part of life. But if you give up, that means you're walking away from a dream. And you can't do that. At all costs, you have to hold on to your dreams. And here in New Jersey, we don't give up or let go. And never forget that you have that Jersey spirit in you. That means we're scrappy. We never give up. And there is nothing that we cannot achieve when we set our mind to it. And above all, that means that no one can tell you that you are not good enough because where you come from, what you look like, or who you love. I remember after graduate school, I started an internship at the very bottom of the food chain on Wall Street. And I was competing against for jobs against children of bankers and other distinguished individuals whose fathers or mothers, more often fathers, helped them waltz through a door that I was trying to fight my way through. I was mocked for my cheap suits and briefcase. It stung, but I thought, to heck with them. Nothing stokes the competitive fire like being told that you cannot make it. So I kept my head down, I busted my tail, and 2 decades later, I was one of the folks running that firm. And that is the Jersey way. So allow me, if I can, to make that final point with a little bit more Jersey in it. Don't let the knuckleheads grind you down. Prove them wrong with that grit, that toughness, that determination, that character, and most of all that Jersey swagger. So, thank you all for allowing me to share your special day with me. From here on out, what you do is up to you. You will choose how you live your lives and what you do with your precious lives. You have already taken an incredibly important step on your journeys, and in a few minutes, you will become graduates of William Patterson. So you will always be pioneers, fearlessly blazing a path into the unknown. And whatever you choose to do, I know you will make us all proud because you have that Jersey swagger in you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the governor of the great state of New Jersey, Phil Murphy.